I have a decent stack of things for donating.
Oh, have I sold something? I am ready for that book to be over. You cannot tell me that this is not the best decision I literally ever made in my life. I can read well-written shit. I was like, is this some kind of like fighter romance? I honestly do not know what this book is about at this point. Good morning, guys. Welcome to a new weekly reading vlog. So this one is going to be wrapping up April and Magical Readathon, as well as covering the first couple of days of May. And I gotta be honest, I have 4 books still left on my TBR for April, not including the one that I'm currently reading that's taking me forever. And I also just have like 4 days left of the month. So I don't feel like we're gonna get through everything that I could do with getting through, but we're gonna try our best. So I'm currently reading 2 books, one of which I may not be currently reading for long, we'll see. But the first one, the one that I'm reading physically and the one that I'm struggling with a little bit, is Shadow of Night by Deborah Harkness. So this one is the second book in the All Souls series. It's the sequel to A Discovery of Witches. Witches. Sorry, that really amused me. It is essentially Twilight for adults. Like, it has the same story beat, it's the same kind of relationship as Twilight, and I ate up book 1. However, book 2 I am struggling with just a tiny bit, because this one is set in a historical setting. It's set in like the 1500s, and a lot of time is being spent like away from the plot, especially through the beginning. Now that I'm in the middle of this book, I'm 356 pages into it, things have picked up a little bit and I'm finding that I'm getting through it a little bit quicker. But through the beginning, we were really just getting established with this time period and also focusing a lot on the relationship between the main characters. And I feel like that really slowed down my progress and slowed down the pace of this book, especially given the circumstances. I feel like they really do need to get a little bit of a move on and stop dilly-dallying and dawdling about. But this one, if you don't know, it's about a witch who works at Oxford, and she accidentally calls forth this manuscript from the library that pertains to the creation of all of the supernatural creatures in this world. So after that, a bunch of demons, witches and vampires start to congregate around her to try and get her to call this manuscript again, so that they can like get her to give it to them and use it for whatever reasons they want it for. One of the people that appears around Diana at this time is an ancient and powerful vampire called Matthew, who would like to use the manuscript to save the vampires, who he believes have been growing less and less powerful and are slowly dying like across the centuries, and along the way these two fall in love. The thing that I love the most about this series is the atmosphere, and this one is still super atmospheric. This is a perfect autumnal read, and even though like I'm not reading this in autumn, it really transports me to that kind of place, to kind of like wrapped up in a blanket, like with the weather a little bit dull, which to be fair, it's April, but the weather is actually a little bit dull, and the wind whistling, a little bit stormy. So I'm still very much enjoying the atmosphere. I'm just finding that it's quite a bit slower than book 1. That being said, I am still enjoying it. It has just taken me far longer than I anticipated. So the second one is the one that I'm not sure I'm going to be continuing on with like right this second, and that is because I have picked up the audiobook of Looking Glass Sound by Catriona Ward. Now this one is an adult thriller type story. I don't really know anything about it aside from that it is following 2 friends. One of them writes a memoir or some sort of like fiction book grounded in reality that is somewhat about or featuring the other one. That is literally all I know. I went into The Last House on Needless Street super blind, and I want to do the same for Looking Glass Sound. So I picked up the audiobook because I have a Spotify premium subscription, and with that you get 15 hours of audio listening every month. So I like to try and utilize that, especially as I have been listening to more audio recently. I tend to at least always have one audiobook on the go. So because I got this out from the library and I had like no clear plans of reading it, so I started listening to it the other day on Spotify, and I really don't like the audio narration, and I'm a little bit worried that the audiobook narrator is going to be like ruining my experience of this book if I carry on that way. So we are going to find out probably pretty soon though, because my plan for today is I don't want to. It is 11:30. I've been awake for 2 hours, really like procrastinating on starting this, but we have just moved back into our bedroom 3 nights. We've had 3 nights in here, so it hasn't been that long. But when everything was being done in here, when it was being renovated, like the drawers that I'm using as my bedside table went into my closet. So like the luggage that we have and like various things that usually get stored in my closet came out, and we have guests come in 1 week from today, and we need to sort out the spare room, which is where we were staying when the work was being done here. So today I'm sorting out my closet, I'm getting everything back into it, but then at the same time, like I need to go through my closet. I do it like twice a year and donate a bunch of stuff, especially because a lot of stuff is like too big for me right now, which means that I really should be trying stuff on that I can't be bothered with. And I also need to get everything sorted in the spare room. It's a box room, so it's not going to take me long, but just get all of that straightened up, because obviously like having one room and the biggest room in the house out of action has had a knock-on effect to the rest of the house. Like the stuff downstairs that could be up here, the stuff in the bathroom that should be in the bedroom. So throughout the next week I'm going to be doing the entire house, but while I have a full day ahead of me today, I really need to get my closet sorted and the spare bedroom back in order. And I also need to go on a run today because I'm still working on that Peloton program that I started, which is, it's like a beginner's running program to get you from doing absolutely nothing, not being a runner, to being able to run for 30 minutes sustainably. And I think I'm on week 3 at the minute. Yeah, it's week 3 and I need to do my second workout, so I'll be going out for that in a couple of hours. But talking about it is not getting it done, so I'm going to go and get my headphones from downstairs and listen to a little bit more of this, see if I can tolerate this really irritating narrator and make some progress on something. It's one of those things, like I actually don't think that this is going to take me that long if I just did it, but I'm procrastinating on it, which is making it so much worse than it has to be.
But I can't tell, but think about the time when I made it to your first show. Took hours to get there under the weather, but I would do it all again. Where do I go from here? Oh, it's not making any sense at all. 'Cause in a moment it was over.
So it's been a couple of hours now and I have a decent stack of things for donating. Some of this is stuff that doesn't fit me anymore, stuff that I just don't really wear anymore, like a very, very old bikini that I would never wear anymore. I got rid of all of the leggings that I was talking about when I was painting that are too big for me. These trousers, I love them, but they've always been too tight around the thighs, even though they fit on the waist. And it's like, I keep thinking like, oh, I'll lose weight and then they'll fit on the thigh, but actually now they're too big on the waist and they're still tight on the thigh, so it's literally never gonna work. But yeah, I'm gonna donate all of this. If I'm being honest, I could have got rid of more stuff. And then my closet is pretty much done. We have all of my, like, look at the wallpaper in here. Look at this. This is horrific and it definitely needs stripping at some point. I'm actually also going to refit my entire closet when I do that. When that's going to be, I honestly could not tell you, but we have all of my tops and stuff are over here. Trousers and long skirts. All of my jumpers, which as you can see, we have a lot. And then I have my dresses under here. My dresses are all in the back there and all of my luggage is now where it's supposed to be with shoes along the bottom. So now that all of that is done, I'm going to bag up all of the stuff for charity and I'll probably end up dropping it off on Monday. I have been reading quite a bit or listening to quite a bit of the audiobook. It says that I'm on chapter 6, but this isn't chaptered normally, so I have no idea what chapter 6 is. Somewhere like here, but this is very much reminding me, I still don't really know what the gist is here. It's set in this place that overlooks a beach and the main character's uncle died, so his parents are like prepping it for sale, and so they go there for the summer to sort everything out, like get all of this guy's affairs in order. And the main character meets this girl and this boy that one of them summers on the island and I think one of them lives there, and he's somebody who like really struggles to make friends and he actually really bonds with these kids. So his father, upon seeing like how well he's getting on with these kids, says like, okay, instead of selling it, like we'll keep it and we'll spend every July here. So where I'm up to now, we're in the second
summer where he's just come back and things have changed a little bit. He like really has a crush on this girl and he's really good friends with this guy. But obviously as they get older and as time passes, things are going to change. Now, at the minute, this is very much like a hybrid between... What is the book called? We Were Liars by E. Lockhart, and also a John Green novel. Specifically, I think it's Looking for Alaska that it's giving me vibes of, because yeah, Looking for Alaska is the one with like the Manic Pixie Dream Girl, which is Alaska. Is it looking? Yeah, because Paper Towns is the one with the road trip. So there's the Manic Pixie Dream Girl and there's the two guys that are friends with her. And then also the way that these kids have their issues, like the boy that he's friends with, Nat, won't go inside. Like, his parents haven't really met him or spoken to him very much because he refuses to go inside anywhere. He's given, like, We Were Liars, and if you know about We Were Liars, you'll know why that is especially in the forefront of my mind right now, because obviously this is a thriller or a thriller-esque type book, so it has, like, a level of anonymity. It's ominous is what I'm trying to say. So I hate the narrator still, especially the voice that he does for the girl, Harper. It's really not good, but it's getting me through this project. So I think I'm gonna go and do the spare room now, or like at least assess it. And I only have like another hour actually before I'm going for my run anyway, so I need to wrap it up.
All these years for a second of closure. Still I miss you next October. How will I know what fun feels like without you in my life? Without you in my life.
So following on from yesterday, I thought that I would spend today, you know, like clearing through some stuff, doing some organizing. And because it's the weekend, like yesterday, I started at 11 a.m. I was like, give myself a lie-in and also time to like read, drink my coffee in peace. So at 11 a.m. I started to list all of the books that I had left from my unhaul that I haven't already donated or sold on Vinted. And this is my first time using Vinted, okay? I will link it down below because I think I'm going to be using it to sell my books from now on. So I started, and before I had even shared the link anywhere, because I was like, I'll put everything on, I'll share it on Instagram. I gave it to my patrons a little bit early, so like they had first dibs. Before I'd even given this link to my patrons, people were buying stuff. They're wild, truly wild. So it is now, I started at 11, it's now 2:30. I had lunch in the middle as well, but all of these are books that I have sold, including this is like 2 full series and a bunch of individual books, and I am in trouble because I've run out of boxes. I have my haul, my unboxing for this month that I'm going to be filming at the beginning of next week, but I have no boxes left. So, and I truly thought I had a lot, so we'll see how the rest of it goes. But I have a live show with my patrons. It's the Crafty Corner, which is, it's a relatively new thing, but it's also not, because my Cadre in a Circle Patreon tiers, we have a chatty live show every month, and as of last month I've switched it so it's still like a chatty live show, but it's also like a crafting session, just because I felt like I needed something like a focus for the live, and everyone needs an excuse to pursue their hobbies a little bit more, right? So that's happening in an hour. The room looks like this. I thought this will take me an hour, you know, like I'll sort it all out and then I'll move on and actually do some cleaning in here. No, I have a live show in an hour and the room is worse than it was when it started. Also, I had, to be honest, if we're being honest, I did not put away all of the stuff from my last unboxing. I had a box still on the floor with the stuff from the boxes that I hadn't put away, but I've had to take that box now, so now I've just got a pile of shit on the floor as well as everything else, so I'm gonna have to deal with that before dinner, because on Sundays I play Baldur's Gate with Curtis, so I'm definitely not doing anything tonight. But oh, have I sold something? I've sold all of my Children of the Whales manga, which I have no boxes. So yeah. Maybe I'm gonna have to bring the filming of that unboxing a little bit forward so that I can use the boxes. Good morning, my guys. It is Monday, and oh, what a Monday it is. I have already been for my laser hair removal appointment, which is my penultimate one. I have one more booked in for 2 months and then I should be done, and oh my god, the reduction in hair growth is amazing. I will give you guys another like update as I'm going into that final appointment, but I don't really shave my face or notice my facial hair anymore, which is beautiful coming from somebody who used to shave literally every other day at like the latest that's the longest I could leave it. And now I have a lot to do today. So I have all of last week's vlog to edit, which I think I have about an hour and 50 minutes of footage. Plus I potentially have some footage on my phone and my other camera that I haven't transferred over yet to add to that, which I'm going to do now. I also want to get this vlog edited up to date so that I can keep on top of it throughout the week and then just export it at the end of the week. I would like to do Patreon sprints tonight, but I also need to fit in my workout and make sure that my step count is where it should be, which is just, you know, my minimum requirements of the day. And then the amount of books that I've sold, it's a little bit out of hand. All of this. So that is a box full of this Not Sucky Stack House, the You Need to Blake Vampire Hunter books. In the middle of that box and that stack of boxes is just like books that I don't have boxes for. So I've ordered some bubble packets which are coming tomorrow, but I would like to get all of the ones that I have boxed up, all of the ones that can go, gone today, just to clear through that a little bit so it's not such a monumental task tomorrow, because I also have a lot to do tomorrow as well. All this week is me doing a lot. Oh, on top of that, I need to finish my book today, because to keep on track for everything else, I have to film my wrap up tomorrow. To film my wrap up, I need to finish my book, and I have 150 pages left of Shadow of Night, and I can say with all certainty I am ready for that book to be over. Like, it has interesting points. I do really like the writing style, I do really like the atmosphere, but then it just, like, the plot can be so boring. Like, I don't care about your household duties and managing your household, Diana. Like, literally I have no fucks to give. Hopefully I'll be able to get everything done so that I can fully concentrate on sprints tonight and manage to finish that book. But that is what I have going on for today. I'm sure I'll update you about something at some point. Disaster has struck. I am 27 minutes into editing this vlog. I had 2 hours of footage in total. I have 27 minutes edited with an hour and 3 minutes of footage still to go through, and my mouse has died. And Apple, why do you do this? I don't know if they've changed it on the new Macs, but why do you have your mouse so that you can't use it? Like, you could literally put it in the front or the back. Why does it go there so that I can't use it when it's charging? Like, I can use my keyboard, why can't I use my mouse? Why? So this is very inconvenient, but I'm gonna, I guess, make a start on getting these guys out of my house.
We're taking it back to some of your favorite pop songs for the past 30 years. Yes, I said 30. Lift up and down. So you'll notice that you have this, roll it up. That big that dumbbell is connected to straight in the ceiling. It's rolling up. Hopefully you're feeling a little more progress in 10 seconds. Let's pop in.
it's not like I even really care.
So I actually have a reading update for you, and I'm going to be doing some filming today, which is what I'm prepared for, but I have a package that I want to open for you guys first. I have been eyeing this up forever, and I finally bought it. It is Lucy and Yak dungarees, my first pair of Lucy and Yak dungarees. I am hoping, praying that they fit, because like with the Disturbia dress that I bought, I have dropped down a size, but not, like, I'm not at a point where I'm comfortable or like confident in being that size yet. So every time I order something, I get really nervous. So, oh, they come in a bag. I was like, I did not order this, but they come in a bag. As well as the dungarees, I also ordered a couple of headbands. Now, the reason why I've taken the plunge in actually finally ordering from Lucy and Yak is because it's my birthday this week. So I thought, as I keep looking at them, just do it, girl. So I of course got the leopard print. Of course I did. I was really torn between the black cord and the leopard print. So we went with leopard print, and like with everything else in life, I'm trying to be bold. So I picked the bold option. Will it be a mistake getting the leopard print? I don't think so. And then my idea was, instead of getting the boring black, and then if I liked them, getting the leopard print in the future, I was like, I'll do it the other way around. We'll get the fun leopard print, and if we like them, we'll get the boring black in the future. I have always had, oh, these fit really well. I've always had issues with dungarees here. Like, they feel really tight here normally. So that was like the main thing that I was worried about. I'm obsessed already. I don't know like how we tie these. Like, I don't know what the protocol is, but they fit. Oh, do they've got pockets. Guys, I don't know what to do with this. I am obsessed. I'm obsessed. They look good, right? What a slay. What a Tuesday morning slay, if I'm being honest. I need to decide now whether I'm going to film in these. I feel like I should save them for my birthday and then filming them after that. But also Curtis is out and he's going to want to see them. So like, do I leave them on for a bit? I don't know, but I need to bring you guys a reading update anyway. Ooh. I want to try on the headband, but I don't want to ruin my buns. This is essentially now a trial run for my birthday because I do want piggy buns for my birthday as well. I'm going to try on the headband. I'm sorry, guys, but you cannot tell me that this is not the best decision I literally ever made in my life. Like, I will not accept it. I will not accept that I have made any singular decision in my life that was better than ordering this double leopard print number. Like... I'm so obsessed. I feel like I have made a grave mistake by choosing to film in here today because the sun is out for once and it is hotter than balls in here. And because of the way I've set it up with the door in the background, the door has to be closed. It just makes everything so much worse, but I'm committed now, so there's no change in it. Yesterday, I did actually, surprisingly, somehow manage to get everything done that I needed to. I am still unsure like how I actually did it, but I got this shit done. Even though actually my day was derailed a little bit because I had an altercation with my neighbor. I'm not gonna go too into it here. If you've been in live shows with me before, you probably know the whole like scenario with the gate. But essentially there's a gate on the side of our house that gives access to the back of the properties and they use it like their front door, so it's like banging and scraping constantly because the gate is broken. And essentially it just kind of all boiled up to a head of being like, in the past we've been like really nice, like, oh, can you do this, can you not do this? Last night I just could not hack it anymore. So we ended up having a very frank, very honest discussion with them that left me feeling like very anxious for the rest of the day. So it was a struggle to finish Shadow of Night, but I did manage it. I have very, very mixed feelings about this book. I have given it a 3-star overall, which I feel, based on how much I've struggled through this book and how much I've wanted it to be over, does feel quite generous. But then on the flip side of that, I think that it still retained a good writing style. Like, I like Deborah Harkness's writing style. That was consistent throughout here as it was in book 1. And also I really like the atmosphere created. I still really like that this series feels very grounded in realism because of the attention to detail that Deborah Harkness pays when it comes to the historical elements. Some of it I did think was a little bit twee and a little bit on the nose, like how Shakespeare is constantly name dropped and mentioned throughout this book, but he is never actually a character. Like, people will come in and be like, oh yeah, like I was hanging out with Shakespeare, but like you never actually see him. Although there are other significant historical figures who are characters in this book, I thought that it was a little bit indulgent for Deborah Harkness with her having the past as a historian and really delving into the historical elements of this and exploring 16th century. I always get confused over what year, so it's 1590, which I think is 16th century England, as well as venturing a little bit out into Europe as well. I thought that the pacing was quite off. Like, it spent a lot of time like with Diana learning how to manage a 16th century household and being a 16th century wife and all of this stuff that like I just didn't care about. And while it is a romance, I would say that the romantic relationship between Diana and Matthew is probably my least favorite part of this series. I like it, it's fine, but it's not the reason why I'm reading these books. So for us to kind of take time out, be indulgent, the characters as well as Deborah Harkness were being really indulgent, it did get a little bit tedious in parts. And I have spent 9 days reading this book. 9 days, and it's only 630 pages. So it was just a drag in parts. I still think that some of the elements of it were really solid. I think it was the plot and the pacing that really brought this down for me. Now, I am definitely going to continue the series because I've heard that book 3 is much better. And to be honest, as long as the writing style and the atmosphere is there, like I can read well-written shit. Not that that's what this is, but if it's shit but it's well written, I'm there, you know. Like, I may not end up having the best thoughts about it in hindsight. Like Priory of the Orange Tree, well written, plot not there for me. So yeah, as long as the writing is good and the atmosphere is good, like I can tolerate a shitty pace and a lackluster plot. So this marks the end of Magical Readathon for me, and also the end of my April reading, because it is the 30th today, so we do still have the rest of the day to get books in for April. And I did realize, because I was editing yesterday, I started volume 2 of the Die comic at the beginning of last week's vlog and then literally just never mentioned it again. This is what I mean when I say, while I can read ebooks when I'm out, when I'm on the train, like if I'm going on holiday, I cannot for the life of me pick up an ebook at home. Like I really struggle. So like I could finish that up, I could spend time listening to Looking Glass Sound or picking it up physically instead, but I really need to film my wrap up today, essentially because we do have guests coming at the weekend. It's in my best interest to get all of the work that I need to do out in the beginning of the week and then do all of the cleaning I need to do at the end of the week. So I'm going to be filming my wrap up and also my unboxing today so that I can get them edited either a little bit later this afternoon or tomorrow and scheduled for the weeks to come. So that is what I'm going to get on with now. I think I know what I'm ending April with 4 books, 3 books and a novella on my TBR that I haven't even started that are going to get carried over. Also knowing that I'm not going to have the most reading time in May, and I'm not loving it. I do need to pick up a required read next, which I'll tell you guys about a little bit later because I can't be bothered now. Like I need to get this wrap up filmed and get out of this room. I'm so warm. But yeah, we're moving on to May's reads from this point onwards.
What am I supposed to say? Oh, it's not making any sense at all. 'Cause in a moment it was over. All these years for a second of closure. Oh, still I miss you next October. How will I know what fun feels like without you in my life? I thought I had it all, but boy, how could I ever be more wrong? Hey, so go ahead and leave
Wearing a
it all.
1975 hoodie, riding record story. I just wanted to
Still be holding on.
I only went for this dog edition, which I feel like was the right choice. I am only actually up to the Black Dog at the minute. I haven't really enjoyed it the first listen, and it's been really struggling to try to get into them. Reputation, friends, and also the look.
Still I miss you next October.
So I did start my, do I have some things to tell you guys. Today is hopefully going to be my last proper working day before I break off for my birthday and all of the stuff that's happening next week. I just have this video to do, which is currently, I'm on top of it. Look at me go. And I just have my unboxing as well to edit, and then I have a bunch of stuff to proof and schedule. But I went for my run this morning. I went to my nail appointment for my birthday nails, and I still have my yoga to do. I need to wash my hair, which is why I look a little bit like a thumb, and I have sprints with Sandra today at 6 p.m, which if I don't manage to proof everything that I need to, I'll be doing that during sprints. But hopefully I will be able to get a little bit of reading done as well. So I have a couple of reading updates. The first is that I did technically end up finishing another book in April, but we're just going to count it because I already filmed my wrap up. We're just going to count it as my first book for May, because last night in bed I did finish Die Volume 2, which is an adult fantasy comic following this group of adults who, when they were teenagers, they played an RPG that their friend had created, and they all got sucked into the game and kind of assumed the role of their characters. They were missing for 2 years before they ended up back in the real world, and because of something that had happened in the game, they had never spoken about where they had been, and it was all just like a big mystery. However, when they came back, 6 of them went in and only 5 came out. So this is like, I think, around 20 years after they returned, and one of them receives a D20 in the post, and when he gathers everyone to kind of talk about why he has received it, they all get sucked into the game once more. I gave Volume 1 5 stars. I loved it. And Volume 2 I gave 4 stars. I did still think that it was really good. I feel like Volume 1 of a comic has a lot to prove, which is why they do actually tend to be really good, because they have to kind of introduce everything, get you acquainted with the series, and then leave it in a place that kind of leaves you wanting more. But then when you get to the second volume, I find we're starting a little bit of a bigger story arc, or like the plot threads are a little bit slower and we already know the characters, so like we take a little time, we do like little one-shot pieces, things like that. So I did very much still enjoy this one. I think the art style is stunning and I love it so much. I don't have it because I read it on Kindle Unlimited, all the volumes are on there, but I love the art and I am really excited to continue. I want to say that I want to try to finish this series by the end of the month. I am going to try a thing actually, and I know some people do this and I've tried to do it in the past. I just don't feel like it works for me very well, but having a different book for bed, like tons of people read on their Kindle in bed and read like physical books throughout the day. What I specifically want to do is read romance in bed on KU, or like paperbacks if I have the paperbacks, and then read like my typical fantasy during the day. Now the reason why I can't do that normally is because if I have to read 100 pages a day, I'm normally going to bed when I've read 65 pages, so I still have 35 pages of that book to read before I go to sleep. Like my bedtime reading time is valuable reading time, but when I'm in bed I also want something that's a little bit more compelling, a little bit easier to focus on, and kind of sucks me in really quickly, which sometimes with fantasy it's not that, you know, like I need to think about it a little bit more, or the pace is a little bit slower. So we'll see if I do manage to pick anything else up tonight alongside my main read. I also kind of don't want to do it right now because, as I've said, I have things going on, so I know I'm going to be reading slower, and I have things that I have to read by a certain date. So I picked up, with that in mind, the book that I picked up this morning is A Little Hatred by Jo Abercrombie. This is the current catch-up book club book, and the live show, unless Deb says otherwise, the live show is going to be on the 12th of May on Zaf's channel. So I need to read this one before the 12th. Now ideally I would read it before Saturday. Realistically, I know that's not going to happen, but this is going to be my main read just to make sure I have it done before the 12th, because I know that between Saturday and like next Friday, I'm not reading very much at all. But this one is the, if you count the collection of short stories as an installment, this is the 8th book in the First Law universe, and it is the start of a new trilogy, which is the last 3 books of what has been published today. I have heard amazing things about this trilogy, and I just really hope it pulls through, because I really enjoyed the First Law trilogy, and then the standalones and the short stories were just a massive miss for me. So I'm really hoping that I kind of get more into this series again with this last trilogy. I cannot tell you anything about the plot of this. I have not looked at the synopsis because I'm just like continuing on with the series. All I know is that the characters in this are related to the characters in the first trilogy. It is a generational kind of fantasy, and I'm expecting to see some of the characters from the standalones in here, although I know they're not necessarily going to be main characters. With the way that the standalones did kind of reference each other and build upon each other, I do feel like the events and the characters, especially like Best Served Cold, does something really impactful with the world, I feel, for it to be a standalone story, you know. So I'm interested to see kind of like the knock-on effect that those books have had on the events of this book. It is a little bit of a chunky one. It's definitely not the biggest one in the First Law, but it's almost 500 pages, so I don't think I'm going to be reading it with any kind of pace, especially because I really like to be busy. I do. I like the fact that over these last 3 days I'm just getting shit done. Like, it feels so good. But what I don't like about being busy is that I cannot chill. Like, I just keep going. I'm not clocking off at 5 like I normally am. I worked till 6 yesterday. I made dinner, I worked out, and then I walked Brie for the 3rd time in that day, and I went straight to bed. Like, I'm not taking time to chill, to play games, to read books when I'm busy, because my mind is like going at 10,000 miles a minute. I don't really anticipate getting a lot of reading done in this because of that, because I know that when I'm done for the day, I'm not actually done because my mind isn't resting, and that is the reason why I'm not like this all the time, because that's kind of when it leads to burnout. But anyway, all of that aside, this is my current read. Hopefully I'll get through a decent chunk before the end of this vlog, and the first part of that is getting this video edited and starting to proof stuff that I can actually get some reading done in sprints this evening. Good morning, my guys. I finished scheduling my videos this morning, which means that I'm now kind of almost out of office for the next like 10 days, which is super exciting. So today I'm going to be doing some baking. I'm baking today and tomorrow, prepping for my guests arriving at the weekend. Today on the agenda we have the chocolate caramel pecan and coconut brownies that I made from this book. Was it in last week's vlog or the week before? At some point anyway, I made those brownies, so I'm making those again. Curtis really liked them. And then tomorrow I'm making the carrot cake cheesecake that I made. It was around Easter, I think I made that. I'm also going to be doing some cleaning this afternoon, and I'm going out with my dad for a birthday, like an early birthday dinner tonight as well. I did want to come and check in with you, not only to tell you my plans, but to tell you that I have indeed started a bedtime book. Yesterday I read a grand total of 10 pages of what is the name of the book? The Joe Abercrombie book that I said I was reading. I read 10 pages. I do have to make an amendment to the live show though, because Deb did indeed let me know that the 12th of May is US Mother's Day, so we are going to be doing the live show on the 19th of May instead, on Zaf's channel, that is. Sorted now, that's when it's going to be. And then the second book that I started is Things We Never Get Over by Lucy Score as my bedtime book. So we'll trial this little bedtime Kindle read and daytime fantasy read and see what happens. What I think is going to happen is I'm going to read a ton of romance and nothing else, because I always read in bed, but sometimes, like today, I haven't read anything yet today, and I don't think I'm going to get to read anything until bedtime, because after I've done whatever I'm doing today, I'm going out, coming home, and we're having a fortnight session. And this one was my Patreon pick. I think it was Lindsay's pick for April, and I didn't manage to get to it. It is a contemporary romance, the first book in the Knock 'Em Out series, which I was a little bit worried. I was like, is this some kind of like fighter romance? But it's actually, Knock 'Em Out is the name of the town in which these books are set in Virginia. I'm like 20 pages in, and we're following a woman who, from the synopsis, I know that she's running away from her wedding, even though at this point, like, it hasn't been discussed. And her twin sister, her evil twin sister, has asked her to meet her in this town called Knock 'Em Out at this diner. So she goes there, and her sister has actually been barred from this diner, so everyone's like, you need to leave, but she obviously isn't her sister. So she explains her situation. She comes outside, and her car with her purse and her phone and everything are missing. So she goes to the police station to ask if like the car was towed, and it very much seems like the twin sister arranged for the main character to meet her here so that she could steal her car and do whatever and go whatever like her plans are. So she meets this guy at this diner who is trying to throw her out, who she describes as looking like a Viking, and it's like a good girl bad guy romance. He has like commitment issues, even though her sister's like a menace. The main character is like a sweetie pie, and the writing I would describe at the minute is a little bit too peppy. Like, it's very like kind of bubbly and like jolly. I want to say peppy is the perfect way to describe it. I do find sometimes with romances it does take me a little bit to ease into the voice of the character, which could be the case here, but other than that, like, I'm having an okay time with it. So I just wanted to let you know that I started that, and yeah, I'm not going to be starting anything else in this vlog. I'll just be carrying on with that, and also the Joe Abercrombie book, Before They Were Hanged. No, that's in the first trilogy. I can never remember the name of that book, but I'll be reading that one as well, and we'll see how far I manage to get before this vlog ends.
I think there's a night.
Like, she wasn't stopping not to question her windows at all, because they were like, just like, she's so open about getting so much enthusiasm and alarm. Vinny and Genevieve's husband, Harry, rushed to all this bedside where they found him. Like, he died of a yeah.
I think somewhere in a different place. I'm still 7 in second grade.
That's in her fucking bed.
And I'm so happy that I feel and that I haven't met my brain.
So I'm now I'm 172 pages into Looking Glass Sound, which is about halfway. It's just past halfway, and I honestly do not know what this book is about at this point, because now that I'm a little way in and I have some more context, I've just read the synopsis and the synopsis is telling me things that are literally only just happening. So I kind of feel like they're spoilers, so that I feel like I can't tell you what's happening, but it's laid out in the synopsis. I can give you a little bit more information than I gave you when I started it though. I said that it felt very John Green, very We Were Liars, and I think that it is still retaining the element of John Green, also a little bit of like J.D. Salinger, The Catcher in the Rye, in kind of the pretension and the main character. I also feel like the audio narration is really helping to cement the kind of character this guy is. He really wants to be a writer, and so throughout his life he's been writing down like these little notes, and the thing that happened to him on this like coastal location when he was a kid has like deeply impacted him due to, I mean, traumatic reasons, but also just because of the mystery and like his involvement in it. So it's something that has had like a lasting impact on his life, and he's been kind of building this memoir about it. Now, it does surround a murder in this coastal town where we start off in. There is a guy called the Dagger Man who is taking pictures of children with like knives held against their neck, like he's taking Polaroids and leaving them lying around. And this book surrounds the Dagger Man, like the mystery of the Dagger Man, who the Dagger Man is, whether that does turn out to be legit. And this guy later on in his life meets somebody who essentially takes his story and publishes it, not as a memoir, but as a horror novel. And the synopsis goes past this, but I don't know, like I don't know what the core of this story is. I don't know if this is going to turn out to be a horror. Based on The Last House on Needless Street, I feel like Katrina Ward is very good at writing like very twisty stories, so I'm not actually really expecting it to become clear to me. This is probably all I'm going to tell you about what this book is about as well, because like I said, I'm already like halfway through and the synopsis is going past what I've already read, as though the point of the book is something that I haven't encountered yet. I'm just along for the ride, which I was definitely along for the ride with The Last House on Needless Street as well. It's kind of lost me a little bit in this last quarter because I wasn't as interested in the, I've just remembered that those brownies are in the oven, so I really need to go get them out. Hold that thought. Okay, I'm back. So I put them in, like the recipe says 30 to 40 minutes, but that's never enough. They're always still like really wet at that point. So I left them in for an hour, and it was just slightly wobblier than I would like them to be. So I was like, cool, I'll leave them in for like another 5 to 10 minutes. That was 25 minutes ago. So once again, I've overbaked them. I did overbake them last time and they were still really nice. It's just obviously the edges were a lot more firm than they're supposed to be, but that's on me for getting carried away with putting stuff away. Anyway, the last quarter of this has not been as enjoyable to me as the beginning bit was, just because I felt like I wasn't clear what the relevance of switching to this college scene was, like what we were going to find out here and how that was going to add to the story. I do know that now that I've reread the synopsis with a little bit of context, but I just felt like this last quarter wasn't as compelling and interesting as the beginning was. So I'm having a good time with it. I'm going to carry on listening to it while I am tidying and cleaning and stuff, and we'll see how far in I get. I do still have like quite a bit of the audio, so I mean, I don't think I'm going to get through it today, but I'm also going to be cleaning tomorrow. So I've got 6 hours and 6 minutes, and that is on single speed, and I'm listening on 1.7. So I reckon that we could get through this, if nothing else, before the end of this vlog. So I'm ready for dinner with my dad. We'll be leaving in about 20 minutes, but I just wanted to like completely own this. I'm going to double dunga. Like, I'm wearing this today. It's Thursday. My birthday is on Sunday, and I will be wearing it on Sunday as well. Different top. We'll change it up a little bit. I'm going to wear them today. I'm going to wear them on Sunday. And then I'm going to wear them like every day for the rest of my life, just so you know. I feel like that's something you might want to know. So I've rolled them up. Please ignore the socks. I'm going to put boots on so you won't be able to see. I might roll them up a little bit more when I put my boots on. We'll kind of see how they look, but this is the fit. The socks look really stupid right now, but I promise it will all be fine, okay?
And maybe somewhere
Because she's fretful, peevish, even ugly. On August 17th, papers could not resist saying this paper line the day was found. And in your wrap,
somehow in this skull of mine, I find it hard to see the truth. 'Cause
I'm gonna give it another shot. Yeah, with me.
If that means I'll be happy too.
I did a bit of a boo-boo. I knew that I didn't really need to get up early this morning, so because my blackout curtains, only got out of bed at 11, which means that it's now 1 o'clock. And I've just put why is my passcode not working? There we go. I've just put the cheesecake in the oven. I cut up my brownies and put them back in the fridge. They did set a lot better than they did last week because I wasn't trying to have a cheeky brownie last night. I left them overnight to set, so they're a lot more solid and they taste amazing. I have already had one. But in terms of reading, because I'm gonna start cleaning now and hopefully get everything done so that I don't have to do anything tomorrow except for add the toppings to the cheesecake. So I'm hoping that I'm going to finish Looking Glass Siren. I have 4 hours and 2 minutes left, so essentially 2 hours, because I could try and bump it up to 2 times speed and then I definitely have 2 hours, but it's only 1 p.m, so I definitely think that I will be listening to an audiobook for that amount of time. It's just whether I keep stopping and pausing or not. So I'm gonna go get on with that, and essentially this vlog is going to be ending when I finish this book, so hopefully it's soon so that I can get it all edited and exported and then finally be off completely for the next week and a half. I'm excited. So it is now 5:30 and I am very proud of myself because not only have I managed to finish cleaning my entire house aside from the floors, which we're going to be doing tomorrow, but I have also finished listening to the audio of Looking Glass Sound by Catriona Ward. I didn't love this, I can't lie. Like I predicted with it being Catriona Ward and my experience with The Last House on Needless Street, it was definitely twisty, it was definitely turny, and it's definitely, like The Last House on Needless Street, one of those books where the plot twists just keep coming. However, by the time I got to the end and we got to the final plot twist, I just thought that it was super basic and eye-rolly. It's kind of like, you know when you read a book and it ends with like, oh, it was all a dream, and you're like, great, I'm so glad that I read this entire thing for that. It was that kind of like super contrived, overdone, eye-rolly ending, and because I didn't feel overly compelled when I was reading this, and it is a thriller, so that's what you want, like you want to be hooked, you want to be flipping pages, just trying to get to the end. I just wasn't really feeling that with this. I felt like it really lacked purpose. Like when I was halfway through, I told you guys, like I have no idea where this book is going. Even in the final 20 pages, I still did not understand where this book was going or what was the point. I did like the atmosphere. It had a little bit of Rebecca, a little bit of Mandalay in there, as well as all of the other stuff like We Were Liars, John Green, J.D. Salinger, like all of this stuff that I did find interesting about it, but it just didn't really quite come together into something that I enjoyed. And I'm really sad because obviously I gave The Last House on Needless Street 5 stars, but then also I knew going into this that this is not Catriona Ward's best work. Like a lot of people don't really love this book, and I feel like it's a good job that I did, because otherwise my expectations of this book would have been way higher and they would not have been met. So I gave this one 2 stars. This means at least now that I can drop this back off at the library, because I actually got a notification through today that my hold on, what is the other book I'm reading? Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Scott. Why can't I remember the names of any of the books I'm reading right now, honestly? That has come in, which it's so annoying because like I said, I'm pretty sure I said in this video that I put a hold on that 1 week before the end of March, and it's come in just as I've decided that I'm going to start reading it on Kindle. So I'm going to go maybe early next week to pick that up, because the library's only open till midday tomorrow and I doubt I'm going to want to go first thing in the morning. So I'll drop this off on Wheel of Time and I'll pick up the Lucy Scott book. I also have a hold on something else that's come in, but honestly, the later I pick that up, the better, because I do definitely want to read it before it goes back, and I feel like it's the kind of book that's going to have like loads of people waiting on it. So we'll see what I end up doing with that, but a trip to the library is definitely in my future. In terms of the other books that I'm reading, I am currently, like I have nothing to add on either of them. I'm like 35, I think, pages into Things We Never Got Over, and I'm 14 pages into the Joe Abercrombie book. So this is why I feel very validated now, because I did say like my bedtime reading time is valuable reading time, so I'm worried that I'll only read my bedtime book and nothing else, which is pretty much exactly what is happening here. I am going to be putting the Joe Abercrombie book on hold now, actually, because I'm going to be picking up in next week's vlog Fire Study, is that the last book in that series, by Maria V. Snyder, because Beth, who I've buddy read the series with, is coming to stay with me for like a week, so we're going to do like an in-person buddy read, which is really cool. I'm excited for that, but there's just no point, because I'm only 14 pages into that book, there's literally just no point me pursuing it. I might as well just put it down, read Fire Study, and then come back to it. It's not like I'm mid-book or anything. The story hasn't even started. I don't even know what's going on in that book at this point. So next week is my, well, this week is my birthday. In the next weekly vlog that you see from me, you will see my birthday and my birthday celebrations, but my birthday is on Sunday, and hopefully I will get a couple of things read along the way as well. So thank you guys so much for watching this vlog. I do hope you've enjoyed it if you've made it this far. If you have, please don't forget to like if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you'll go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.